And today I am here with Piper Riley, who is a past Grand lecturer in 2014. We are going to interview her, and we are starting off with, where do you work?
Hey, I'm Piper. I am currently a child and family therapist and early childhood mental health consultant at the Homeless Children's Network in San Francisco.
Wow, that is so cool. Can you tell us a little about your job and company?
So, the Homeless Children's Network is a small nonprofit that is primarily supporting low income families and particularly Black and Brown children throughout San Francisco. So, it sounds like, homeless, but it requires some children have homes, some children don't have homes. I am also there are so many different programs under the Homeless Children's Network, and one of them is the consultant program, which I'm a part of. We go and support shelters and preschools and resource centers and supporting them and their staff with early childhood programming. So, kids under the age of 5 who may or may not have mental health challenges.
Wow, that is truly amazing. What is the toughest part of your job, and how do you deal with that?
Um, I've been working in children's mental health for about 8 years now, and I have always been drawn to working with kids. Ever since I was a small child, I
Mm,
knew that working with youth was what fulfilled my soul. And I think the hardest part of the job is the systems of like how underpaid and understaffed our schools, how
yeah.
the school systems are creating the prison pipeline of how poverty and the pandemic have affected these kids, and like seeing how broken the world is and systems are. That's probably the most frustrating part of the job, because these families and kids are affected by powers beyond their control.
No, yeah, I totally get what you mean. My family is a foster family. My parents are foster parents. My sister and I are not children, but we've had kids in our home, and same thing, like just different situation, but similar thing, like the pandemic and stuff. Just it really affects the kids and everything that goes on with those systems. So, what inspired you to pursue this job?
Well, sort of what I said before is that I wanted to work in children's mental health. I graduated in 2021 with a master's in social work and a master's in nonprofit leadership. My eventual goal is to run my own mental health organization using dramatic and theatrical arts as a way of supporting children's mental health. But to do that, I want to sort of increase my experience as a therapist. And so this is a really good organization where I can build my therapeutic skills, become a fully licensed clinical social worker,
Yeah.
and work my way to sort of experience a more management leadership position within the organization, hopefully. But
Mhm.
right now, I'm just doing the therapist thing, which is different because before my master's degree, I was working in a lower level psych job, and now I'm in a therapist role. So I have a little more say in a client's therapeutic journey, and that's definitely increased responsibility, but gives you more of an opportunity to really see how a family functions,
Yeah.
and to see children progress and growth despite the trauma, despite their mental health challenges.
Wow. Yeah, that is yeah. Wow. That is really cool. What are your top three favorite things about the job?
My favorite part of three favorite things about the job would be that every day is different, that I'm, in a shelter one day, in a preschool the next.
Right.
My organization really prioritizes us learning and increasing our own education. So we're encouraged to do trainings, encouraged to sort of expand our learning. Like tomorrow, I'm going to a training about a metric that young children use through doctors and through preschools to assess children's development. So I'm going to go get trained on how to do that. And then the third favorite thing about my job would be my clients, my kids. Like you really get close to them when you're seeing your clients every week. You're talking to their parents. You're a part of family therapy, which is a very intimate process
Mhm.
to as a clinician to be stepping into a family's home and sort of becoming another member, but not a member of the family.
Yeah.
Uh, it is very intimate, but I have really amazing kiddos that
Yeah.
make me laugh a lot.
Yeah, it seems almost rewarding when you get to see their smiles.
Yeah, their smiles, and I've seen clients among the years in very different systems, whether it's school, hospital setting, residential setting. And now that I'm doing community social work, I'm getting to be more where they're at. I'm going into their school, I'm going into their homes instead of them coming to my like office.
Which
Which
is really cool.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's like meeting them where they're at. And yeah, it's been I've been working here for about a year now, so it has been a I'm relatively new to the organization, but I've enjoyed it. It's been a good year.
That's awesome. So, what rainbow lessons would you say best prepared you for this job and your adult life?
I would say what rainbow lessons. Um, I think that service is often in our culture glorified
Mhm.
and put on a pedestal, and oh, you need to do these kind things for people, like schools require kids to do community service.
Yeah.
And I think that rainbow talks about having service not being glorified. And so sometimes people who, when I tell people that I work, they're like, oh my God, what you do is so amazing. You're helping so many people. And like, I don't need that glory. I don't need that praise. I think that is really nothing, has nothing to do with me. I mean, I'm there, I listen, but I'm not the one that's really doing the work.
Right.
It's the kids, it's the families, it's
Mhm.
the system itself is changing. I'm not some magical fixer with the magical wand that can fix kids' mental health.
Right.
Um, if I were, I would make a lot more money than I do, and I'd be in a lot more of a demand. Um, so yeah, I think that the lessons of service and that Rainbow helped me realize that I'm not the center of the attention. I was sort of an only child who was glorified, who was a theater kid, and I didn't join Rainbow until I was 16.
Mhm.
So I Rainbow gave me a sense of community, a sense of family that I didn't have before.
Mhm.
That kind of lowered my sense of self to a more healthy level.
Yeah.
Um, which sometimes Rainbow does the opposite of taking the shy girl and making them a star.
Mhm.
But I was a very not shy girl
Right.
who was learned to appreciate others and to step back a little bit from having the spotlight being on them all the time.
No, yeah, that's really cool to learn about because you always hear, like you said, the stories about the shy girl becoming like the star and stuff. So it's really cool to hear the other side because Rainbow truly does just make us better as a whole.
Yeah.
Yeah. So when was the last time you were overjoyed at work?
Um, oh, it's the little moments. It's like when the 4-year-old pulls the hair out of another 4-year-old, and the 4-year-old takes a deep breath instead of turning around to punch the other 4-year-old. It's the moments that, my clients like didn't get upset and um self-harm on Thanksgiving, which was going to be a big stressor for them. It is the little moments. I'm someone that can find joy in the little things, and I think working with children is one of the things that help you remind of every little moment can be joyful.
Yeah. So, what challenges did you face to get where you are today, and how did you overcome those challenges?
Um, I think some of the challenges were the systems that I worked in. I worked my first job after graduating college. I was in a residential treatment center. I was undertrained, underpaid, getting 12.44 an hour to stop kids from self-harming at 2 in the morning. And like the therapists, the adults were outside of the building, and us lowly staff where we're trying to keep teenagers, children who've had a ridiculous amount of trauma safe. Um, and so that was a really scary time. I had some injuries. I had some pretty severe secondary trauma from that job. And I learned that systems are so broken, and that someone needs to go in and support those systems, and that um, so many nonprofits are run by CEOs with a business background who don't have any understanding of what mental health really is, or the effects of trauma,
Hmm.
or they're run by therapists who don't know how to run a business. And so I'm trying to gain skills in both the business nonprofit leadership world and the therapist world, because I think that will help me advocate for these systems and um, yeah. And so I think that was definitely the most challenging job I think I've ever had and ever will have, was working swing shift until 2 a.m. at a residential treatment center. But I also loved it. And it was an amazing job where I learned so much about not only mental health, but my own anxiety, my own mental health. Because as a lot of people in our culture suppress their mental health challenges, pretend that nothing is wrong, fake it till you make it. And I was doing that for a really long time. And I was raised and encouraged to do that by the people around me.
Hmm. Wow. You are incredible. Like, just everything you are doing, I'm like, oh my goodness. Can I just like follow in your footsteps?
I mean, I think more people should work in mental health. I think it's not attractive, right? Like you're not going to get paid, and that's what. Oh my God, so many older adults tell me this, and in Rainbow adults too. They're like,
Yeah.
you're not going to get paid very much by working in social work. That work is hard, and it's like, yes, I know. I'm not doing it for the money. I'm not doing it for the glory. It's really the only thing that's interesting to me.
No, yeah, for sure. I'm currently studying psychology because I want to be a clinical child psychologist. So similar, different, but similar. So no.
Very, very similar. I mean, my undergrad is in psychology. I specialized in early childhood development. I chose social worker rather than the full psychologist field
Mhm.
because social work to me sounded like there was more avenues possible,
Mhm.
because I knew I didn't want to be a therapist forever. I knew I wanted to do more advocacy and management. And I thought that with a broader degree, I would be able to sort of swim a little bit in the pools of therapy,
Right, kind of do both.
but then exit the pool and be the life jacket, or sending in resources and helping other clinicians,
Right.
because I think therapists are not supported enough or paid enough or praised enough or trained enough. Um, and I want to um, try to burn down some of these broken systems and try things differently because I mean, even in Rainbow, I think there's a lot of nonprofits who are afraid to do things differently, who are afraid to change and sort of get in the habit and the pattern of doing things the same way.
Mhm.
And I think you need the system's clearly not working perfectly. And so what to change it? And I think Rainbow has done great in the past decade of changing, of making some progress, of making it more inclusive. And I think many other organizations need to do similar work.
Yeah, no, that's definitely true. What advice would you give to a young person hoping to pursue a similar career?
I would say diversify a bit. I think that I have chosen a lot. I was like, I only want to work with kids. I really focus just on children, but I
Mhm.
think trying to diversify about substance abuse, adults, elderly populations. I think, you know, working with kids, you're really working with a family, and the family can involve people from all ages, all different
Right.
backgrounds. And so trying to diversify in your learning as much as possible and to be critical of your own bias, of the own challenges that you have as a person, and not be afraid of self-reflection.
Wow. Yeah. So, how do you think your career helps build the leaders of tomorrow?
Oh, leaders of tomorrow. Um, I think that, I mean, the pandemic has shown, um, and our society is slightly becoming more accepting and cognizant of mental health. I think that it is going to need more funding. It is going to need more support to for the leaders of tomorrow to continue to exist, because I'm seeing so many more kids um, dealing with really big adult size problems at such young age, and they need more support.
Mhm.
So more people need to come in and work with the youth. I think that I'm making like several different arguments right now in my brain. It's been a long day.
Uh-huh.
But yeah, the leaders of tomorrow, I think, can need to be aware of children and not to put everything on them. I think sometimes it's like, oh, our children are going to fix global warming. And like, you can't put everything on younger generations. But I think working with younger generations and help support them through the trauma that they're experiencing and some of the trauma that us adults have caused.
Yeah, no, that is totally exactly what I was thinking too. Is there anything else you would like to add based on your job, the video, anything you'd like to say to the leadership team?
Not that I can think of. I'm around if anyone has questions or concerns. I think that it's really scary to um be a teenager, to be a young adult, to be a young kid in Rainbow, and it may be really scary to ask for support or to realize that you need someone to talk to. But therapy is a good place to do that, and there's free therapy out there for mostly everyone. There are people out there who can be someone neutral for you to listen to you ramble, to give you a new perspective, for someone to help you feel safe in a world that doesn't feel very safe for a lot of people. And so, yeah, I encourage everyone to get a therapist. I encourage everyone to yeah, be kind to one another, and um, to not shame one another when someone's trauma where someone's mental health challenges comes out. And it may come out as aggression, it may come out as self-harm, it may come out in something that's not pretty. Um, but to not to stigmatize them for that.
Oh yeah, for sure. I just want to say thank you so much again for coming on here and doing this interview with me. This was amazing to hear about. I was so inspired, not only with my career, but I hope all the girls that are thinking of pursuing a similar career were also inspired, because hearing your story was really, really amazing. And I really appreciate you coming on here with us. And with that, thank you so much for watching our video.